can you edit this first part? Holy shit. Okay, okay, all right. I didn't think I was gonna have to shorten this, but I will. Okay, you're much taller than I thought. Can you start the time? Sorry. Can you edit that too? Okay. Sorry. Okay. All right. So when I was really young, when I was very little, I thought I was an alien, and I thought I was dropped off on Earth, and that at some point or another I was going to get picked back up, and that my whole mission on Earth was to document the insanity around me. So I grew up in a very violent neighborhood, in a very illogical place. And so all the things that I saw did not make sense with the books I was reading and the documentaries I was watching and the science I was learning. Like, all these other things seemed antithetical to sort of the way things work. So for a long time I kept thinking, like, surely somebody is going to pick me up so that I can give a really detailed report about how fucked up this is. I went to elementary school with a guy named Raquan the Face Scraper, who would beat you up and then scrape your face against the sidewalk. Then when I was in middle school, I was bussed. It's New York City, so nobody's bussed. I took a train. I was bussed from my neighborhood to this school for nerds, sort of like the X-Men house, except like we didn't have any special powers, but we were still like weirdos. So that was kind of awesome, but only when you were inside the school, because then as soon as you stepped outside of the school, you would get like your ass beat. When I was in high school, I went to another school that was very, very far away. Again, like every time that I would get these opportunities, I would have to go really far. And in high school, there was this guy named Marvin who used to torture me. And Marvin was very literal. He was very into like literal torture. So he would say like, "I'm gonna kick your ass at 3 p.m. And then at 3, he would come find you, and these 2 goons would hold you, and he would literally kick you in the ass. Like, he would go, and then you'd fall down the stairs, and he'd be like, "I'll see you tomorrow." But he's being serious. He's gonna see you tomorrow, and then he's gonna tell you something, like, really crazy, like, "I'm gonna scratch your left arm until you ask me to stop." I mean, that's crazy shit. Like, I mean, I don't know how many of you have been bullied or tortured, but like when somebody's like very specific about how they're gonna do this to you, it's like torture. It's like pre-torture. So then after that, I bussed from New York City to Western Mass for high school, because I'm a nerd, and so I shouldn't be in New York. I should have better opportunities. Again, keep in mind that this whole time I'm thinking that this is gonna stop. That at some point or another, like somebody's gonna be like, "Haha, oh, dude, you're the best we've ever sent out there. I'm gonna fucking make films about you. Training material, dude. Like, I got you. This is incredible." So I bust, right? And so we get to this program, this place in Western Mass, and So you go and you live in this dorm, and then you go to this prep school, and there are already other black kids at the prep school. So like when you show up, they're like, "Yo, what are you doing here?" And then you're like, "Oh, I came from New York." So everybody else who hears is like, "Whoa, real black people, awesome!" And then so the guys that are there are already like, "Oh, fucking, we hate you. Go back to wherever you're from. We already got this. We're good." So you can't leave, by the way. You only go home during vacations. So that happened, right? And so over and over again, like I kept trying to find a place that was my house, like my home or my place that like I'm gonna go and it's gonna make sense. All the things are gonna like add up. But it didn't happen. In fact, every time I went somewhere, remember that I'm still thinking like, I'm still taking notes and I'm still trying to figure out how this works. So I go to this guy's house, right? Brian Sapanic. And his mom's like, do you like spaghetti? And I'm like, hells yeah, I like spaghetti. So she comes out and she's got a bowl of spaghetti and a bowl of sauce. And I'm like, oh shit, that's like in the commercials. I don't even understand what's happening right now. I didn't think this was real. And then she like brings it to the table. And then I'm like, what do we do next? And then they put that stuff together. Like in the commercials, you guys. Like, I mean, I know for you guys this is like, yeah, isn't that how you eat spaghetti? But again, like, I grew up with like one pot meals. Like everything is in one pot. But on the TV, like white people eat spaghetti separately. So I'm like, holy shit. So then, of course, like in the commercials, you know, people have orange juice and cereal and toast. And I'm like, oh, this is gonna make a really good report when I get back. So I keep moving and I keep going places and I keep, you know, sort of trying to find like the thing. And I'm starting to give up hope. I'm like, all right, I'm never gonna get picked up. I'm probably stranded and like, this is gonna make a really good movie wherever the fuck I'm from. Like they're gonna watch the thing about me and be like, wow, that's so sad. It's like Castaway or the Sandra Bullock one where like she's floating in space forever. You know, like that's like I'm in that version somewhere. You know, so you know, and I keep moving and I keep trying to figure out like where I'm from. And I moved back to New York after college, and then September 11th happens, and you know, I'm like really shocked. I'm there, I'm like a few miles away, and I'm like really like, oh my God, this is horrible. But then again, I feel like my house is it my house? I don't know if I feel a connection to New York City anymore. I've been away so long, and my friends don't treat me like I actually live here. And when I go back to college places, they're like, you're not really from here. And so everywhere I go, back and forth, like I'm never from the thing. I'm always from the other place. And then when I go to the other place, I'm not from the other place. And so I keep moving. And eventually, I settle in Maine. I settle here in Portland. And I come up, and it's really funny because when I was being introduced, it's like, oh, everybody knows Mo. And I sort of feel like finally I'm at a place that's my house, my home. You know, and I hope this doesn't sound really egotistical. It's gonna sound really egotistical, by the way. Like really self-centered. But like, of course you fucking know me. I live here. Like, it's my house. Like, would you go to someone's house and be like, oh, hey, who lives here? Like, didn't they invite you? I don't know, did you walk off the street into this party? I don't understand how you don't know that. So like, for the first time ever, you know, I'm here, and you know, I still feel alien, but not like in that really bizarre way. And I do still harbor fantasies of getting picked up because I'd be a millionaire wherever I'm from. But it does, you know, that thing about like, oh, everybody knows who you are, sort of makes me think about like the journey that a lot of people take to get here. You know, and we use terms like immigrant and alien and illegal and all this other crazy sort of verbiage to describe just people who are looking for a place to go because the place they came from literally doesn't exist anymore, or they were forced out, or they just wanted to leave because they wanted something better. And you know, and it's funny because like, you know, we accept it in some instances and we're like, oh, it's cool that you want to come here, man, that's awesome, you're a fucking traveler. You know, and then in other instances, we're like, go back where you came from. This isn't your house. Even though they're doing the same thing, right? They're still looking for the same place. And it's, you know, even though I'm supposed to be telling a story about like me trying to find a place that I'm from. I hope I established like I'm from here, and that like I live here, and that like I'm really popular, and people know me. I also want you to think about like, there's other people who come here too, doing the same exact thing, who had this exact same experience. And it's crazy because mine doesn't involve death camps or starvation or whole relocation or anything crazy. It just involves like face scraping and like dudes were really literal. I'm sure like if you're like in Syria getting tortured, the guy isn't like, I'm gonna pluck your toenails out now. I'm sure it's far more crazy than that, but I feel like right now, given all the crazy stuff going on, that we sort of think about in coming home. Like some people are getting here, right? And then they're like, oh man, Maine is awesome. Then everybody's like angry that they think Maine is awesome. Like, that makes no sense. Maine is pretty awesome. Like, would you want them to get here and be like, oh, this fucking sucks? I want to go back to that refugee camp. No, really, like, no, it's crazy, right? And so, in the same way that people accept me and are like, oh my God, you're so awesome. I'm pretty awesome. Just think about that and like, maybe I can spread out my awesome a little bit and give it to that next refugee family or the next group of asylum seekers or the next group of people that just come here because they broke up with their boyfriend or because they almost killed a Russian mobster or, like whatever, like people are coming here because it's pretty darn great. And right now we're being convinced and told that we shouldn't be into that we should be upset about that. And that's not true, right? Like, that's not upsetting. That's pretty awesome. We want to share this. We want to be with these people. And I don't feel that way anymore. I feel really, really, like, welcome and accepted. And, like, this is my home. And I just bought a house. I'm going to end with this. So I just bought a house. I've never lived in a house my whole life. I've always lived in apartments. And the other day, I was going down to the basement, and I'm a big guy, right? It's an old house, so I'm like walking down, like boom, 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 and like stop halfway. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm making too much noise. What will the neighbors think? Like, I seriously, I'm a polite guy. I'm thinking about that. I care about what the neighbors think. Maybe they have like a sick grandmother or a kid who they can't put to bed. So I'm thinking, and then I stopped and I was like, oh fuck, I own this house. There's nobody upstairs. In fact, there's nobody like next door or downstairs or nearby or anything. And then I like literally threw myself down the stairs. And I was like, I can make as much noise as I want. Yeah, I mean, that happens because I finally found a place that's my home. And I guess, is that a weird end? I'm gonna end there.